Trigger Gumm is a motocross champion and enjoys hurtling himself across the longest jumps possible on a motorbike. Trigger is a 4-time Guinness Book World Record holder for the longest distance jump. He broke the record in Australia in May 2005 when he launched his Honda 500cc motorcycle 277.5 feet. He also has a record for height in jumping, going vertical at 80 feet high. Were you bored as a child?
No. I mean, like every kid, I just basically, loved motorcycles and loved riding motorcycles. And growing up in San Clemente, California, the kids were just one-upping each other. And I think that basically just to get noticed, you had to do something above and beyond anybody else. So we just took it to a whole nother level. And
what's the rush like? I mean, for example, 277.5 feet. That's a huge distance.
Well, you know what? I can't really explain it. Like, no ball player or any kind of athlete that plays with a ball can kind of picture what goes on in your mind. You're pretty much prepared to die if you make a mistake. So, just pure concentration in the moment. More like a gunfight, I would say. You're just completely focused on what you're going to do, and you're 100% committed, and you're willing to pay the ultimate price, your life. So it's do or die.
It's very scary. What about fear, though? Do you have fear?
The word fear and impossible, aren't in my vocabulary.
Right.
Never has and never will be. You just got to overcome anything that you think negative and, prepare for the best, and hit the ramp perfect and fly the bike like an airplane and land smooth on the other side.
Tell us about the world record jump, 277.5. It's the planning that goes into this.
Well, I've been planning for it my whole life. That was one of my goals. Not too many people can have a goal and actually accomplish, a feat. Like, I'm the only one in the whole planet that's ever jumped this far. It's kind of like, so just going into it, I prepared and just worked my way up. And when I went over to Australia, I was just ready to go, 100% committed. And actually, the first jump, it's kind of funny, the spokesman or the narrator or whatever, the announcer was on the landing. And I actually came off the thing full stick as fast as I could go, right in the 90s. And I was out about 270 feet. And I was directly headed right for him, and he wasn't looking. So I directly flew right over his head.
Oh!
And actually, at the last second, nobody knew where I landed. And it kind of shook me up. I seen, like, the Grim Reaper. And I rolled back around. I was pretty upset. Like, just what was that guy doing, It was near fatal. I would have died. He would have died. We'd have both died. So I was pretty shooken up. So nobody knew where I landed. So they're like, you got to go again, And to do something that big and have to do it over, it was one of the all-time just, I can't even tell you what was going through my brain,
Wow. Do you like danger?
Yeah, you kind of feed on it. If it wasn't dangerous, I wouldn't want to be involved in it, Bouncing a ball down and putting it in a hoop never really thrilled me. Something that you could literally die at doing really interests me. And I think that just, being a daredevil, and risking your life for the sake of entertainment is my cup of tea.
But you like also going up, don't you? 80 foot.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm kind of afraid of heights. If you get me on a building, I'm kind of freaking out.
But then what about the jumps? So forget the vertical bit, the jumps. They're very high.
You know what? You're just so focused at looking at the takeoff ramp and just focusing on the job that you don't realize how high you are. You're just like kind of in the moment.
Halfway across, do you often say, oops?
Well, I remember like the one in Australia, my world record attempt, a guy was up in a pettibone, and he was about 80 feet high, and he was like right in the middle, with the film camera.
You just waved to him?
And as I went off, I remember I was looking at him, and I was looking down at him. And then
you were looking down at him? And
actually looking down at him.
Yeah.
And, it was it was kind of a weird deal too. It's like when I'm performing, everything kind of goes into slow motion. Like you're so focused on everything that it just kind of bends time, and you can focus like on weird stuff like that, like looking over at that guy, looking at the landing, looking at the 30,000 people watching you, and just keep that concentration throughout the event, you know.
When you perform, I mean, look at Evil Kinevil and stuff. The audience, you got this huge crowd. What are they expecting?
You know what? Actually, when you come out and you look into 30,000 people's eyes, half of them want to see you die. That's what they came there for.
To see you die.
A big crash, you know, and half of them actually want to see you make this jump. So and you can see which ones want to see you die and which ones want to see you make it. So they want to see blood.
But how do you feel about that? I mean, I'd be a bit rattled if I went into a group of people knowing that they wanted to see me in bits and pieces.
Well, that's the thrill of it. That's the show. That's what makes me different than any other motorcycle rider. That if you make a mistake, it's fatal, or you're busted up really good. You wake up in a broom closet in a hospital, just going, "Oh my God, I can't believe it," you know. And that's happened to me too. You know, I've crashed on a 300-foot jump, woke up in a broom closet, just going, "I can't believe I'm alive." You know, I can still wiggle my toes. You know,
that's handy, isn't it?
Oh, I can't explain how.
So do you then have doubts about whether you want to keep doing what you're doing?
Well, you know what? Last year I broke my neck and my back twice, and then I came back. Evil Kinevil called me, and he goes, "Hey, I want you to do a jump at Butte, Montana, Evil Knievel days." And actually, I agreed to do it with I had a broken back, and I showed up and basically did that jump, knowing that if I made a mistake, I'm already broken.
Yep.
So I actually did that jump for Evil with a broken back. And the doctors just said, "Trig, you should be on your couch." I go, "I got to do this. You know, this is probably the last opportunity to perform in front of the, you know, all-time best, you know, the pinnacle, my hero, Daredevil." So I had to do it, you know.
And he's your greatest inspiration?
I think so. You know, anybody that he just had that spirit about him that just he was a superstar. He wasn't a star, he was a superstar. And he just you know, lived every day like it was his last. And we became really good friends, and yeah, it was like the highlight of my career, getting the world record, and then, you know, having Evil invite me up and performing in front of him was another, you know, pinnacle of my career. Yeah.
What challenges have you set yourself now? Would you I mean, can you go higher? Can you go further?
You know what? You don't know. You know, of course you can go farther and further. You know, anybody that says you can hasn't done the math. So there's definitely room for improvement. And you know, this thing's gone so far now. It's like such distances that it's just it's incredible. You know, and you literally can start flying the bike. You know, I can't really explain it too much, but you can control the pitch and attitude with the brake and the clutch, and you can literally fly a motorcycle. So once you get up into those zones, it's you know, the possibilities are endless. You know.
I think if that was me, I think the leather pants would be there just to stop me from embarrassing myself, because it's a very dangerous sport.
There's no in between in my sport. It's either the best time of your life, or you know, you wake up in the hospital.
How do you know
at best?
But how do you know though that partway through a jump that it's not going to work?
I'll be honest with you, like the jumps that I've actually crashed on, when you leave the trailer right before the jump, you know in your mind already you're done. And you just got to you committed to this jump. I knew I was done right from the beginning. There was just, I can't really explain it, but there was just it was in the air. I was not going to make this jump.
So what do you do though in your own mind to you know, stop the damage, stop the injury?
Well, you know what? You've committed to do the jump, so you got a job to do. I'm in Oklahoma, Miami, Oklahoma, at Buffalo Run Casino. When I walked out, you know, I knew I was going to crash. I knew I was dead. So I went out there and.
So you knew it beforehand?
I did.
So
And
why
actually,
did you do it?
Well, because I'm a man of my word, and I signed that paperwork, and I was prepared to die right then, and I remember I got to the end of way down at the end of the thing, and I actually, I'm not all that religious, but right there I said a couple things, like just looked up and said my 2 cents, and I came at that ramp, and in the air, a 30 mile an hour gust hit me in the air, and I came up 2 foot short, and you're going well over 90 miles an hour, 90 to 100 miles an hour, from 85 feet high, and just took the worst ass whooping anybody's ever got. I can't explain the pain and suffering, and you finally come to rest. You're kind of out of your mind. Kind of remember the ambulance. You kind of, you only remember bits and pieces when you take a real hard fall like that. And I ended up getting up and walking away with a broken neck and a broken back. And so no matter how hard you fall, you just try to get up and deal with it. But for sure, I knew I was done on that one.
You often hear people say that your whole life flashes before you. Did your life flash?
It's when you get broken up that bad, it's almost like the whole day was a dream. Everything that happened that day was more like you're dreaming. But then you watch it on TV and it was reality.
So close, yet so far.
Yeah, and you just see your head almost get twisted off, and the big crashes, I'll be honest with you, those have basically elevated my career to what it is, When you do it...
So the bigger the injury that you have, the more popular you become.
As crazy as that
Which goes
sounds.
right back to the point you made that half the crowd, they want to see the end of you. They want to see you killed.
Yeah.
So the legend lives until the legend stops living.
A lot of people can't grip, like doing something that, suicidal or that crazy or that intense. So it's pretty special to me to, be on the top of my game.
Okay, we've talked about the other side. What about when you do that great jump? What's the feeling like? Is it relief or is it more than relief?
It's like pretty much you're in the zone, almost like a gunfighter. You know that you're going to be the fastest. You're sharp. Everything's slow motion, and you hit the ramp. My ramp's 80 feet long. It's 22 feet high, and when you hit that at like 100 miles an hour, it's like no other feeling. You go from 80 feet by 22 feet high, and you're on it about 3/4 of a second. So it's just you're only on it for just a split second, and then you're just shooting up, and then I'll be honest with you, you just start naturally flying the bike, controlling the pitch and attitude, and right when you went off, if you're going to make it or not. So you're looking pretty, you're flying it across, keeping your pitch and attitude, and then right as you get over the landing, you let out the clutch and give it gas. That drops the back wheel, and you just land like a feather.
Is it slow motion?
Flight. Yeah, I think, and I've talked about this with a lot of really good athletes, and I think that you have you've got something in your mind, and some people have it, some people don't, but it's like just the instinct to live. Like a tiger's going to attack you, you got to hit it perfectly in the heart, and you can slow down time to kind of do that. And like really good athletes, I've talked to a lot of them, and I go, hey, you kind of slow down time when you do your things? And he goes, yeah, when I do my golf swing, I can do it perfect every time. Or when I skateboard, I can pretty much focus so much on one thing that it's actually like slow motion. And for some reason, I've got that gift. So when everything's slow motion and everything goes perfect, it's just like a fairy tale. Perfect.
If you weren't the guy that cheats death and entertains thousands, what would you have been?
I was that kid that climbed the tallest tree. I'm not one for like being inside and stuck in a little cubicle. So
I'd believe that.
I love to skateboard vert. I love to surf 30-foot waves. bicycle, motorcycle. So I do pretty much all kinds of sports. I'm not just a motorcycle daredevil. I'm a surfer, skateboarder, any kind of athletic sport.
A thrill seeker?
Yeah, for sure. Just someone that goes out and just gets it done, having fun the whole time.
Where to next with your career? Do you keep doing what you're doing, or do you want to move somewhere else?
Well,
something else?
I think for sure I got a couple really good goals. I would like to do the Olympic ski jump on a motorcycle at Lake Placid, New York. I would like to bring the the Guinness Book of World Records back from Australia back to the United States where it rightfully belongs. And Evel kind of handed me the torch to carry on his legacy.
Yes.
And until that fire leaves my heart, I'm going to do what I do, and that fire is still burning pretty bright. So I'm just going to keep going.
Do you think you'll live to a ripe old age?
If you jump off a cliff, it only hurts if you forget how to fly. So as long as I don't forget how to fly, man, I should be pretty good.
How would you describe yourself? Just say in one word.
Maniac.
Actually, I'd probably agree with you there.
Yeah.
It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah.
And good luck with the next, maybe Mount Everest.
You know what? The word, luck, I try not to go on luck. It's opportunity and preparation. So I've got both those on my side. So we'll leave the luck for you.
Trigger, thanks very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.